Today is November 10th, 2025, and I am not a big fan of this day. Not 2025, but just generally November 10th. Um I just wanted to make this video to kind of honor my aunt. My aunt died a year ago today. I still remember the call that I got from my mom telling me this. And honestly, November was a really depressing month last year. I was going through I had no internet, so I wasn't able to even like make a video about this at the time because and also I just wanted to grieve a little bit. So let's see, November 10th. About November 8th and November 9th. I have to mention November 8th, last year, which was a Friday, I think. I think it was a Friday. I'm at the Toledo Zoo and I'm having a job orientation. My sister, she's calling me. She's trying to call me, but I'm not answering because, it's I'm at this orientation. Now we're just being shown the zoo and around the areas that we work in. So around the time, we finish up and we're about to leave, I see my sister's calling me again, and I saw a text that she told me that it was an emergency. So I answer the call, or I call her back. I don't remember it, but she told me that my aunt was dying. Now I knew my aunt was in the hospital. I thought she was just like sick for a little bit, and that she was gonna get out of it. So I never really paid it any mind. She had been in the hospital at that time for like a month, maybe a month and a half. This is to my knowledge, because I know when I got fired from Chick-fil-A the month before, which ironically happened exactly a month, before she died, on October 10th. My mom told me that she was at the hospital with my aunt. So, I ended up, talking to my sister, and I called my grandmother, who was at the hospital as well, and I told her I was gonna be there. I run out of the zoo, and I run to my car, and I drive out to the hospital as fast as I legally can. And I go there, and I see my aunt on the hospital bed, and I see some of my relatives, her husband, my cousins. I didn't see my sisters there either day I went there, but I saw my mom and my grandmother and a few of my aunt's friends, or one of my aunt's friends, or I don't know, because I don't think I've ever met them. But anyways, I ended up leaving after like maybe an hour. My aunt, she starts showing signs of life, like moving around and stuff like that. But overall, she's mostly comatose in the hospital with tubes in her body. You know, and they're pretty much, we go and talk to the doctors, and they're pretty much telling us that she's gonna die. You know, or well, I don't know if they told us that she was gonna die, but a feeling in me just tells me that yeah, she's gonna die. Now, I'm not gonna say that around to a bunch of people that are hoping that she's, gonna be alive. And honestly, I have no proof that she's gonna die, but that's just a feeling I got. So it was just this dread that I felt. Um, so yeah, I ended up leaving after like I think an hour and a half, maybe 2 hours, and I go home and I'm playing. I don't remember, but I know the next night, I think my mom calls me, and cause I was playing Mortal Kombat Deception. I remember I was on the couch in my room playing Mortal Kombat Deception, and my mom called me, I think, and I end up heading over to the hospital to see her, and it was like 10 p.m. I think, and I didn't realize that this was gonna be the last time I see her alive. I kind of had that feeling, but I didn't. I really just didn't know, and man, I woke up the next day. I'm on my couch because I didn't have a bed yet, and my mom calls me and tells me that she ended up passing away. Um, so yeah, I actually had called my dad about it as well. Um, and everything was just super bittersweet because my aunt just died. That was the bitter part, but the sweet part was that my life was gonna turn around for the better. and I started up a new job that was paying pretty well as a delivery driver. I started that 2 days after she died. And the week after, on Wednesday, um, let me think, 11 days after, I think. I don't, was it 11 days? It might have been, it was either the 20th or the 21st that her funeral was. I want to say it was the 21st, but I got to look at the calendar of 2024. So let me check. It was, okay, I think it was the 21st on a Thursday. It might have been the 20th on the Wednesday. I don't remember. I don't remember exactly. But I think it was 11 days afterwards. And I'm not able to work. I told my sister that I'm probably not going to be at the funeral because I had to work that day. And it was too soon for me to even request that day off. But, I ended up not getting a route that day. So I ended up going over to the funeral. And at the funeral, I just actively refused to look at my aunt in her casket. And, you know, and at the funeral, like while it was going on, while the service was going on, I was still like looking away from it. Not really, I didn't catch a glimpse of what she looked like in that casket until, I'm up there with my sister, and I turn around, and that's when it all really hit me that she was dead. And I cried a whole lot. Like I really cried a whole lot. And it was probably the most depressing thing I've ever experienced, the most depression I've ever felt, the most sadness I've ever felt, because I love my aunt. But I don't think I really, a part of me just feels guilty because I never really talked to her that much. I've always felt shy or awkward or something, uneasy talking to her. And the thing is, my aunt is one of the liveliest people you'll ever meet. Like, I was always down for going over to her house, talking to her, but just in general, like just for general conversation, it just, I don't know. I don't know what was up with me, but man, this was hard, like really hard for me. And you know, I'm just bringing this out to my own personal perspective about this, So the reason why it's about me is because it's my perspective, But I just know that this will be the first of three deaths that I would have to deal with since turning 21 at the time, you know. So yeah, I'll talk about the other two when I get to it, when the time comes, Lord willing. And you know, but overall, I do miss my aunt. I miss going over to her house when I was a kid. One of my most endearing memories with both my mom and my aunt was it was May of 2014, and my mom took me to see The Amazing Spider-Man 2. Um, Granted, I don't think that movie is good at all. I love that movie though, but I never thought it was a good movie. Um, you know, and I will, sidetrack. People that talk about how Andrew's movies were so underrated are lying. They are all lying because of No Way Home. They were all lying because of No Way Home. They like Andrew as an actor, but his movies were whack. But anyways, my mom, she took me to see The Amazing Spider-Man 2 back in May of 2014. I'm 10 years old at this point. And she takes me to McDonald's, and she ends up taking me. This is actually, I think, the last time I ever got a Happy Meal, because I think I just randomly decided, I want to get a Happy Meal. So she let me get one. I think it was the Electro toy. I don't remember. I think it might have been Electro, I think. And I go over to my aunt's house, and I'm just eating my food, playing with my toys, and I can't remember where she was living out at the time, because my aunt, she lived in a lot of different places, to my knowledge, and you know, but I just remember going over there, and it just made the night so much better because I used to love going over there. Another good memory I have is it was my aunt and my uncle's anniversary, their 1 year anniversary. which happened in 2022 in October of that year. I think it was on her birthday, on her 40. How old was she when she passed? She was 45, so it would have been she would have been 43, I think, on her 43rd birthday, I think, or maybe yeah, I think it was her 43rd birthday. She was born in 1979. Yeah. Okay, so yeah, her 43rd birthday. And actually no, it was 2023, so her 44th birthday, the year before she passed. That's what it was. Cuz I remember now. I was 19 and it was a real good time. And I remember the whole thing being black and red. Yeah, it was black and red. And I came in with all black on, just dressing like fancy. And I found out because my granny told me to dress nice. And I found out that everybody was just generally wearing black and red. Like they weren't like dressed up like no bums or nothing like that. But you weren't dressing like you were at a freaking, I don't know, fancy party or nothing like that. We was just there to have fun. My sister went there. I don't know if both of my sisters were there, but I know one of my sisters was there, and my cousin went there. She paid me $20 to drink 2 shots of tequila. I remember that now, and yeah, but I don't know. I don't know. But I guess speaking of 2023, another reason why I'm not too big on November 10th is because that was when my last relationship ended. I was 20. I remember this specific day, not to the T. Like I remember, I only like basically traced it down to November 10th because I remember it was 2 days after I got my car. I got my first car, which I got my first car the week after my 20th birthday. So I remember me and my girlfriend at the time. I just remember like getting this really bad feeling, you know. With me as a partner, at least at the time, I was a very affectionate person, especially like specifically towards her. And I remember I left work early, I think, to go to Chick-fil-A or something. And I was driving home, and I got home and I was eating my food, or was it? No, I was driving home and we stopped talking after that. And then when I got home, I was living with my grandparents at the time. We started talking, and I tell her that I'm like I love you, and she doesn't really say it back, and I'm like, can you say it back for me? And she says it, and I'm like, can you at least say it like you mean it, because my ex, she wasn't the most affectionate person is what I can say. Like she was affectionate at times, but not the most affectionate. And I realized that kind of in that moment, yeah, it was over for us. She basically told me that she can't give me what I want, which is reciprocation, and that just hurt. I'm not gonna get into all of that about everything, but I was watching Abbott Elementary last night. I think it was the first episode of season 2, and Janine was going on about how she about how she was just moving past that breakup that she had with Zach Fox. I don't remember his character. I think his name was Tariq in the show. But everything started falling down, and like her coworkers, the teachers, were telling her that she has to go through the breakup instead of just jumping over it, instead of just ignoring it. And I really took that to heart. It felt like I was being spoken to, and I realized like, man, I think I should be doing that. Now, yes, it's been 2 years since we broke up, but that's not really the issue. It's the fact that I was very close friends with her up until she left again in August. We had been friends, let's just say on and off at that point, since 2019. So we had been friends for like a smooth 6 years. So, yeah, we were like really close. We were really good friends. So yeah, and it just sometimes I regret getting with her, not because I don't like her or nothing like that. I just wish like, um, man, if I could go back and not be with her, just to have her here, I think I would have her. I think I would. I think I would have risked. I think I would go back to never date her if that meant she'd still be here with me. Because I cared about her. I do care about her, even now that she's, not with me anymore. It hurts a lot, and I just gotta get vulnerable here. I gotta get a little vulnerable here, and just talk about it. But that's just something you need to know about me for a little bit in my life. Um, I wanted to just share something personal now that it's November 10th. So yeah, I'll be live streaming at 7:30 p.m. for NightTube. Jesus loves you. I'm out.